Welcome to the Photo Flunky Show, episode 152. This episode, we're going to talk about 10 inexpensive photography accessories that'll save you some time. Hi, my name is William Beem.
Hi, my name is Lee Beem.
And we are here to help you improve your photography with visual storytelling. And before we get started with that, I want to let you know that show notes are going to be available at williambeem.com/episode 152. All right, we've got 3 things that we hope that you're going to be able to take away from this episode. And that is that a few inexpensive items can serve you for a long time. And it's really amazing that they don't take up much space, but they kind of help you clean things up. And it's amazing how important cleanliness is to photography.
Oh, yes.
Nobody wants a messy photo. All right, why don't we go ahead and just jump right into it? These things are really kind of, like I said, they're very inexpensive. There are products that you can buy to handle most of these things. You don't necessarily always need to buy something, but there is a bit of convenience when you buy some of these products. So let's start off with the first one, and that is white balance or color correction tools. Usually what I'm talking about with white balance or color correction tools is some kind of a target that you take so that you can get your white balance spot for the rest of the photos you take. So there could be a gray card, which can be just a simple gray piece of foam board or paper or something that's gray, that you take a shot of that. That way, when you get into post-processing, you touch it with an eyedropper and it helps you fix your white balance. Mm-hmm. Color correction tools, you're getting up to beyond just the gray card. And there is a little X-Rite color check passport, I think it's called. Mm-hmm. I'll have links to these in the show notes. And so if you want to go ahead and look at these things for the products, I'll put some Amazon links in the show notes. So those will be affiliate links, but I want to give you the idea. These are not necessarily things that you always have to buy, but the reason that you do it is so that you can end up with a little better photography. The purpose of the color checker passport goes beyond just setting your white balance. It also works with your software so that you make sure that you get absolutely accurate colors. If you're doing product photography, you need to make sure that the color you deliver in your photos is consistent with the brand color for the client that you may have.
Yep.
So the common example I give is if you shoot for Coca-Cola, the red on the can or the bottle better be the red or that they use in their logo.
Yep, absolutely. You did one for me with the organic vegan protein powder.
Yeah.
It's got a very specific shade of green. That is the lid. That is the organ color. And yeah, we used that color checker to make sure. And then we did not mess around with any color sliders.
No, so I'll be honest with you, even though there are times that I want to do some color grading or some kind of stylization with my photographs, I start off with color corrected photos to make sure that I know that I have a starting point that is consistent from one photo to the next.
Yeah.
So that way, if I apply changes to a batch of photos, they're still going to change in the consistent order from one to the next.
Yes.
So, but a white balance, you can find these almost anywhere in any photography shop. There is one that I use from Last to Light, which is just a little pop-up thing. It comes in a little small round zippered pouch. You pull it out, and the reason I like that better than a card is because it has this little white target on it.
Yes.
And the problem with trying to focus on just a pure gray piece of paper or cardboard is that your focus goes hunting kind of back and forth.
Yeah, there's just nothing to lock onto.
Yeah, your focus requires contrast in order to lock in on something. So this little Last Light thing has the target, so the white and the gray offer contrast. And just quickly, hold this, please. I take my shot, I focus automatically, and I'm good to go. The Color Checker Passport Pro is something I will always do on model photography or portrait photography. Maybe not so much if I'm doing landscape or travel. I'm not going to take the time to put that out every time I go, but I'm definitely going to make sure that I do it correctly in scenes like that. If it's going to be a fashion, if it's going to be a product.
Yep. And your white balance does affect the colors in your shot anyways.
Yes. So definitely little white balance tools. They're not expensive. They don't need to be expensive. The passport, color check passport, I'm probably getting the name wrong. Like I said, I'll put in the show notes. You'll pay a little bit more for that than you will for the white card, but it offers you a lot more control over your colors. It's amazing when you see the difference, like when you click the button on the profile that you've made and you see that what was purple becomes almost a different shade.
Yeah.
All right, number 2 on our list was a decent camera strap. And by decent, we mean more than just pretty. For the longest time, we've used something called an up strap. Mm-hmm. And I still have it. I love it. I think it's a very good tool. The thing I like about that is kind of twofold. One, you attach little connector points to the eyelets on your camera, and then you can clip and unclip your camera strap.
Yeah, without going through the whole break your fingers, dig a key in.
Yeah, it's very easy to get. So, like, for example, if you've got a moment where you don't want to have the camera strap on while you're taking your photos, a couple clicks and it's off. And the other part of that we really liked was it's got this little rubber shoulder strap. And I swear it holds on. It does not fall off. It doesn't
slip, yeah.
Now, I've recently bought a new camera strap from Peak Design, and it has the same concept. It's a nice looking thing. It's got a cloth material, but underneath the shoulder, there's the same rubber strap, and I've had the same luck with it. It is not sliding off, and it uses smaller little connection points. Mm-hmm. They call them anchors for Peak Design. But these two camera straps are the ones that I really recommend, whether you go with Upstrap or Peak Design. I'll try to put links for both of those in the show notes. Here's the reason why. There was a friend of mine who works for Nikon Professional Services, and he told me, look, we really don't recommend that you use any of these camera straps or clips that attach to the tripod mount on the bottom of your camera. And I said, why? He said, because they weren't designed to hold the weight of your camera and a lens. And I cannot tell you how many times we've seen somebody's camera come in for repair because they cracked off and their camera just fell.
Yeah.
So, and I'm going to call it out. If you're looking at Black Rapid and even Peak Design, they've got this little clip that they put on, or maybe there's a spider holster that's attached to your side. Those things go on the bottom thread mount where you put on a tripod, and the weight of your camera is just basically holding on there. Maybe a little small point and shoot or a very small mirrorless that doesn't have a big lens on it, you might be fine. But if you're shooting with a larger DSLR and you've got a lot of weight to that camera, that's a lot of weight and pressure to put on something that was designed to really hold your...
It's a support. It's just a support.
It's not even really a support. It's to keep it from moving around on the platform on your tripod. Mm-hmm. So your weight is still going down. The gravity's still pulling it down into the tripod, and it's being supported by all those legs keeping it in place. It was not designed to be hanging upside down off the strap like you have with Black Rapid or some of the other ones that use that method. So just keep that in mind. I know a lot of people really love their Black Rapid straps. I had one for a while too. I threw it away after I got this message.
I think they've brought some out with tethers and stuff, but to me, that's just like extra stuff to connect. So.
What's the point of a tether? The strap is supposed to hold your camera.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never really looked into it because I didn't. There were other things actually that's made me go for the Upstrap. Tell you what else I like about the Upstrap, and it sounds like your Peak Design strap as well, especially for the girls or in summertime. When that camera slides, if you lean in it and it slides forward on your shoulders, most of the time, if it's got a rubber-ish or some kind of grip that they say is going to stop it sliding and it doesn't, it's going to take your shirt down with it. That's just a little hint. So I really appreciate something that doesn't slide, but also that's something that doesn't dig into my shoulder because I tend not to wear sleeves. I mean, we're in Florida, so I've usually got something, sleeveless, and it needs to be comfortable. These are really good straps.
The other thing I liked about the Peak Design that wasn't on the Upstrap, if you like to wear your camera strap crossbody, it has this little release to expand and contract the strap. So you can just quickly lift a little lever, elongate the strap, pull it over your head, and then tighten it up once it's on your body.
Yeah, I use my Upstrap across the shoulder always and only.
Yeah, so crossbody works with both of these straps. These are the ones that we recommend, and they're holding on to the eyelets on top of the camera because that's what was designed to hold your camera up.
Yep.
All right, number 3, and this is really a simple one, is either a lens cloth or some cleaning wipes.
Yeah, you just use them all the time.
Well, it's like no matter where you are, I don't care if you're in a studio or if you're out in the field, you're going to get dust and debris or something is going to get on your lens. Maybe your finger smudges it, and maybe you needed to use it on the viewfinder. Maybe you needed to clean off the LCD or the back of the camera lens. They're handy little things. Lately, I've gotten to where I use these little Zeiss cleaning wipes. They're individual packets. You get them on Amazon, and that way I use them once and I throw them away.
Yeah.
Microfiber, I still keep microfiber cloths with me all the time.
I've got a wonderful lens cleaning cloth that my brother bought me years ago, and I take good care of it.
Yeah, the lens cloth, like that little microfiber thing, it will last and last. It's very easy to clean, throw it in the wash, but it's something that you want to have with you all the time. And even if it's not for your camera, it's amazing how many times you use it on something else when you're taking a photograph.
Absolutely.
So it's like, oops, I just need to clean this one little spot here.
Yes.
All right, the next item on our list, and this should be an obvious one, but it's a memory card reader. And
Yep.
I've got one from Hoodman, and it's USB 3.0, and it'll accept both compact flash and SD cards. Those are what I use for my camera.
Yeah.
And it's just perfect. It's fast. And that's something you want to pay attention to. Is not just the fact that it fits the card that you have, but how fast is the bus that transmits to your computer. So USB 2 is going to be much slower than USB 3, or if you have another system where maybe it's USB-C, think about how fast can you transfer that data off your card, because some of those old ones, we had before, I used to have one that was a FireWire for my Mac, which was at the time considered to be very fast. By today's circumstances, it would just drag on. And I'd put my card in there and I would just walk off and have lunch and then come back and get it later.
Yeah.
If you're in a hurry, get a memory card reader that is moving quickly on whatever format that you need to use. So whether it's going to be USB 3, if it's going to be USB-C, if you've got something that works with FireWire, well, good luck to you. Thunderbolt would be nice for me, but I haven't found one for Thunderbolt yet. But a good memory card reader. And like I said, I use one that I've had it for a few years from Hoodman, but I'm not necessarily recommending any particular brand there. I'm just simply saying, look at the speed of your card reader and get something that works quickly for your type of card to transfer that data quickly to get in your computer. Number 5 is having a small flashlight.
Yeah, this is just, I cannot express how many times this has bailed me out and how many times it's come unstuck when I didn't have it. Much inconvenience.
All right, there's a couple of circumstances where I need this. One is just looking at my camera bag, because even in daytime, it can be dark inside the camera bag. It's not like you lift it up and then there's a little row of lights there. Unless you're like Joey Wright. He's a swimwear photographer based out of Miami. And I saw this on a training video that he did. He's got some Pelican cases, and he got little LED lights that he put on them. So when he opens it up, he can flip on the LED lights and see what he's got.
That's really genius.
I think it's genius too. So hats off to Joey for that. That's a brilliant idea. But if you don't have that, just get a small flashlight. It doesn't have to be very powerful, just enough so you can see what's in your bag, and you always know where it is. Put it in the same pocket every time. Yeah,
because stuff sneaks around in camera bags when you move, and it goes and deposits itself where you didn't put it when you packed the bag.
And it's not just your camera bag. I mean, sometimes the sun goes down. Well, every night the sun goes down.
This is true.
And you're trying to take a picture of something and you can't focus because there's just not enough light on it. And a little flashlight will help you at least lock your focus onto something. And then you can take the picture, and then your flashes can go off if it's a portrait.
Yeah.
But you need a little light to assist your focusing. It works perfectly for that. Or sometimes you just dropped something and it's like, oh God, where did it go?
Yeah, there's that. And also for me, I think the time that I've used it quite a lot is inserting a, the cabled shutter release. And usually this has been when I'm taking low light,
Fireworks.
slow exposure, or fireworks, or even if they're not fireworks, it's usually dark. I know my way around my camera. I know where it is, but my fingers don't seem to have enough sensitivity to be able to feel if that little point is flipped the right way around.
Well, look
and
at
it just
this way.
helps a little bit of light to say, okay, it goes this way.
Yeah, on a lot of cameras, it's like you said, one way or the other. It's got to fit in the right way. But also, there are other ports that are nearby that are small. It's like, all right, you're looking in the dark, so which one is it?
Yeah.
At least that's what it is for me.
And you can also wreck your port if you try and jam something into the wrong one. So
yeah, and like I said, it doesn't have to be powerful. It can be very cheap and inexpensive, low light, just enough to give you a little bit of visibility into what you're doing.
Yeah, I think mine cost $5.
Yeah.
I kid you not. And I've had it for 5 years.
Sometimes you can even get these things for free if you've got a vendor or go to a conference. There's always somebody pushing off a little flashlight. You can get something that goes on your key ring, perhaps, that's just enough light to let you see.
Yeah.
Number 6, a reflector or a white card. And this is just a bounce light. Portrait photographers are using reflectors all the time, but then again, so are studio photographers, product photographers. Even if you're doing nature photography, sometimes you just need to fill in the shadow side of your subject.
Mm-hmm.
You can do this for, well, I shouldn't say free. You can do it almost for free for just a foam board, you can go to an art supply store and get a little foam core board that's maybe 2 by 3 feet, or get bigger ones if you want to. Or you can go off and get a reflector from a vendor like Manfrotto or Lastlight. Again, I've got pop-up reflectors. The ones I use are called Tri-Grip. You can get these like 5-in-1. So like the interior is maybe a diffuser. So light passes through it. You're out in harsh light and you need the soft light. You just hold that up over your subject. And then suddenly you've got a stop of diffusion, maybe 2 stops of diffusion. And then you put something on over it that has silver reflector on one side or gold on the other side. Maybe something else is white to bounce it, or stripes on the other side. All those little things are nice to have, but I find that if I just have a quick little pop-up, and usually I don't want to use the gold. I just want either silver or white to kind of bounce light. Yeah. And the reason I like the tri-grip is because if I'm working alone, it's got a grip that I can just hold on securely to that. And while I'm still got my camera in the other hand, and I can maybe hold it under a model's chin so I can get a little fill light underneath. But you use these all the times when you're doing your product photography.
Yeah, and I just use white foam boards.
Yeah, it works fine. You're not looking, you don't need necessarily a lot of reflectivity in most cases. You just need enough to bring in the shadow. And guess what? If you bring it in closer to your subject, it puts more light on your subject. Mm-hmm. So it's really a matter of how far away from your subject and the size of the board rather than all that reflective material. Sometimes, yeah, the shiny silver does make a bit of a difference. But the thing I like about just using a white board is you don't bring in a lot of specularity and those hot spots, that shine too much as you do with silver or reflective gold.
Yeah, for sure. It's a bit softer.
That's just a very inexpensive thing to get. Going along next is a memory card case. Yes. And I used to think, okay, my camera bag has a little pocket up here and I'll just throw all my memory cards in there.
Nightmare.
Oh, what a mess. Well, first off, you got the problem, like if you can't find it. Then you've got the problem of which ones did I use?
Yeah, I know, right?
The nice thing I like about having a little memory card case is I can kind of put them in a certain order. And then when I'm done with the card and I put it back in the case, I'll put it down backwards. So I said, anything's backward, I know I've already shot that.
Yeah.
So I don't go reusing it. And it's all in one place, so I can pick it up and take it with me. If I'm in a place where I'm worried that I'm going to be separated from my gear, I'm really more worried about my photos that I've taken than I am about replacing the gear. I can replace the gear. If you've got insurance, you can get that.
Absolutely.
You can get that, taken care of. It's, again, convenient, but you cannot replace the photographs.
No, I agree. And I'm the same.
So, and it doesn't matter to me what case you do. I've seen even Pelican makes a little hard-sided case that really kind of protects them. I've got a soft zipper case. It works fine for me. So I don't have a particular recommendation. You can think about what works. You don't have to spend a lot of money on this. It's just a quick way to organize your stuff and keep it with you if need be. Mm-hmm. Number 8 on my list is called Rocket Blower, and that is a particular product. And what we're talking about here is a little thing that you squeeze. There's a little red tube, and it blows air to get dust off of your camera lens.
Yep.
I bought like the first cheap one I found someplace, not a rocket blower, but the first, bubble kind of blower. And it worked. It worked fine. And then there was no place to stand it up or set it down, and it would just roll away. The thing I like about the rocket blower, and this is the silliest thing, but it's practical, is it has little fins on 4 sides so it can stand up and it will stay put.
Yes.
It's still just a bubble blower like almost all the other ones. It's a very well-made bubble blower, but when I'm done, I can just stand it on its edge and it stays there. Okay, number 9 on our list is a shutter cable release.
Yes.
And these, again, you can get very expensive ones that have an intervalometer in it, or you can just get a simple third-party cable release that just simply clicks the shutter. Mm-hmm. And for most people, I would say that's all you need. But you want this because sometimes you just simply need to take a longer exposure. You don't want to touch the camera to shake it during the long exposure. You just simply need to click the button. The one I've got, I really like because there's a little slider that locks it down. And like when we're taking fireworks photos, I just leave it on all the time with that little lock. And then I take a baseball cap and kind of cover and uncover my front of my lens. But you've just got a pretty simple one as well, don't you?
Yeah, that's the $5 one. It's still going strong. Never had any problems with it. It's absolutely fantastic. And it does the trick. It also slides and locks. And I love that because I tend to take very, very long exposures with my fireworks. I think much longer than yours.
You do.
I don't use the baseball cap, but I like to use a neutral density filter. So that's how I kind of control my light.
And it's not just for fireworks. I mean, the same thing with product photography. Before you were getting into flash, you would go out and just take it in sunlight. If you had enough light, that's great. If you needed a little longer shutter speed, you don't really want to handhold it. And also, sometimes you want to keep your camera in just the same place when you're taking photographs, and you don't want to even touch it. You don't want to take a chance of moving it anywhere because you want to line things up later in Photoshop, or you just need the same perspective every time. Shutter release is perfect for that.
Yep. And also my before you helped me set up with the flash in the kitchen for food prep about 8 or 9 months ago. I did a series of food prep photos, but I didn't have that, and the lights in the kitchen isn't really that great for taking photos. So I had the camera on a tripod with the cable shutter release, and that's actually how I got my exposure. Because this was like almost a second, and There's no ways I could handhold it like that without it moving.
Yeah, and they were, it's like they're not moving around, so it doesn't matter how long your exposure is, just as long as you get the exposure that you want.
Yeah.
So shutter leaf, and like you said, $5, it's lasted you for years, and that's what we mean is that these are inexpensive little things. And the last one on my list is almost the same as one of the previous ones, and that is a hand towel. So the lens cloth was number 3, just kind of clean up your lens, maybe clean up a couple spots. I cannot tell you how many times I've wanted to have a hand towel with me. And it could be, I just need to wipe my face off before, while I'm out on a hot day. I need to put a towel down, so I can kneel on something a little bit more comfortable. I need to wipe up a mess or something. It's an incredibly handy little thing. That's why we call it a hand towel, I guess.
Yes, a handy towel.
And it doesn't matter what brand, what type. You just need a towel sometimes. If you ever read the book, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that's the advice they gave you. It is an eminently practical thing to have a towel with you at all times.
Yes.
Don't go anywhere without your towel. And those are the 10 things that we think they're inexpensive photography accessories that are just going to save you a little bit of time. You don't think about this that much. There are a lot of photography accessories that we would also recommend, but we wanted to concentrate on something inexpensive. So for example, a flash is an accessory, a tripod is an accessory. You can spend, a few $100s on these things, and not everybody needs to have a tripod. It's really dependent upon what you're doing. And I'll even argue, as much as I love flash photography, not everybody or not every photo needs to have a flash on it. So I'm not going to recommend that to everybody. But these things, I don't care what you're shooting or where you are, I think they make perfect sense. And like you said, you spend a few dollars on them now, they will last you a long time, and it will just make your life a lot easier in your photography. Thank you very much for joining us on the Photo Flunky Show, episode 152. Show notes are going to be available at williambeem.com/episode 152, and you'll find links there to subscribe. Hope you do. And also go to photoflunky.com. We've got a player there. You can listen to this or previous episodes, and also subscribe on places like Google Play, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you, and we'll see you again next week.